Good morning, flosstube. This is Gem Stitch here, and I'm here with my technically July-August update on the 1st of September. Yeah, totally missed the month of August. It's just been manic, and I'm actually in a little lull, a little place between manicness. So I really wanted to get this done, because I did try and set myself a target at the beginning of the year to really try and upload at least once a month, so that I could share obviously all my progress with yourselves, as well as a good guide for me and my progress and what goes on and these sorts of things. And I've really missed it this month, but it's been super busy, so I do apologise to all my subscribers and to any new subscribers that I've got. I do try to normally load up a video mid-month, but I missed the deadline, so I apologise about that. But and I'm really behind on flosstube as well, which is so I'm really trying to catch up. But I think the best way for me to do that is, what I'm actually doing is, any new videos that are loading up, I'm watching them and then going back and trying to retrack. So sometimes I might watch a video that's the other way round, I'm that far behind, but I think that that's the only way I'm going to sort of catch up with myself again. It's just been mad. So thank you for watching, and thank you for being supportive and the rest of it. I love reading your comments, and I do try to comment. And again, on my last video, I know I've got some comments that I haven't managed to actually respond to, which is really rude of me. I try not to do that. So what I'm actually going to do is, when this video loads up, is loading up, I'm actually going to go back and respond to those comments. So I always appreciate your support. Just to let you know, I've just been a mad month. So to the stitching, I've got to try and remember where I was really. The first thing would be, which I didn't bring the pattern, totally disorganised, but you've seen it several times now. The first thing was what I was calling the Bethany Sampler. Now actually that was a complete alphabet from a French company. I'll write all the details down in the bottom, and it was called, the actual pattern was called ABC Patisser, but I used the alphabet to spell out the name Bethany, which is my husband's cousin's daughter. And the idea of that is that I was hoping to get that framed, and we'll give that as a gift from us at Christmas. And she, her mum is the sort of person that would really appreciate the sort of amount of work and effort that goes into that. So I'm more than happy to do that for her daughter, and they're lovely people, you know. So did I manage to get it finished? Yes, I did. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to fit this in the screen. So this is where it was the last time you saw it, so I'll put a picture here somewhere. And this is where it is now. Let's see if I can do this, because I haven't trimmed it down until I frame it. Oh, can just about fit it in. So that's Bethany. So the Y was the last one to do, and I've put my initials and signed it. So yeah, I'm really pleased with it. You've got the B, E, T, H, A, N, Y. And my husband, being the complete wind-up that he is, and actually his dad as well, the other day, once I showed them, were going, I don't think you spelt her name right. You know, I double checked, and every time I started a new letter I'd check it again, and I always believed I could spell Bethany until you actually start doing a letter and you think, I'm just going to check that again, I had spelt it right, they was just winding me up. So yeah, I'm really, really pleased with how that's come out. I have struggled to try and find a frame because I obviously don't want it to, I want it to try and fit as bespokely as possible, without having to purchase a frame, even if I frame it myself. At the moment I'm looking at quotes of just about £60 for a frame, and I didn't really want to kind of spend that. So I have found a frame from good old IKEA, but it will be very snug. So my kind of border to when I kind of really want this done would be the end of October, because I would ideally want that framed and ready, wrapped up, and it's just ready to go, because as we all know, November, December's just too, so that is sort of my aim. So I'm holding off a little bit. I have purchased the frame because, you know, when you think just in case I can't find a frame, and for £8 I could use it for something else if I do find another. I do tend to like second-hand shops, which is for us like charity shops, or I think you call them thrift stores in the US. But yeah, so I always check them, because more to do with the fact that, one, you're giving money to charity, and two, you can get some unusual frames or more traditional frames, and I don't mind painting them, or being able to sort of make them look a bit more presentable, or whatever. But it is quite long. Had it been a shorter name, I would not have had a problem, but it's the length of the name that I was having issue with. And so far I've only found one frame, and so I'm thinking, for £8 it was, I picked it up because you think I can use it for something else if I find something else that I prefer. So yeah, but I've got it as a fallback plan if not, but it will be a little bit snug in there. I mean, it won't affect any of the stitching, but only by about 1/4 of an inch all the way round, and ideally I would have liked it at least an inch, maybe 2, but that would be an unusual size frame, so that's when you sort of have to start looking bespoke. But I think I can make it work, you know. And it's maybe she wouldn't want a frame that's quite so imposing in Bethany's bedroom as well. So, you know, that's what my husband said. He said it will be lovely and unique, but it's not imposing. So depending, I don't know what the decor is, so I'm obviously trying to stay as neutral but cutesy and girly as possible, without being over girly, which is why I picked, like, you know, this green rather than pink and this sort of thing. So hopefully, if not, I will frame that and you'll know that I wasn't able to find another frame. But yeah, so I did manage to get Bethany done. So thank you for all your advice. I'm not, obviously based on this frame as well, I'm not going to add any of her other birth details. I was considering maybe finding a way of adding her middle name and her surname and her weight and obviously the date she was born. But actually, it might be better to just leave it as it is and just have a name. So just a first name. So yeah, that's the Bethany Sampler. So thanks for all your advice in the comments, which I will respond to if I haven't already. But yeah, thanks for all your opinions and your advice. They are much appreciated. Which led to, that meant I was working on, oh God, August would be, because I follow the Stitch Mania sales, and I have one focus piece a month and sometimes a little project. Bethany was my little project in the sense that I always try to complete a letter a month. So let me think. That's how far ago it was. July, it was It's a Sunshine Day, and I chose for that piece a work in progress that was already started, and it's my biggest work in progress as well. More to do with the fact, not necessarily size, but the amount of stitching, and it has a lot of embroidery stitches or speciality stitches in it that I haven't tried before, so it's gonna just take me longer because it takes me longer to figure it out. But yeah, so It's a Sunshine Day. My focus piece was Creation by Tempting Tangles. So I chose it because it's got the sun in the bottom, but ironically, I was actually mainly working in the storm. I've completed these, started from the middle and sort of as soon as I could figure my way up here. That's how I tend to work. Because I don't particularly like working up, I try and get to up as quickly as possible, and then I can come back down. So I'd completed this bit and this bit, but this is, I'm sure you can see from the picture, extremely confetti heavy. It's what gives the beautiful colours, because this is all charted for DMC, so all these blends of colours is literally by tone, and it is really nice, but it is quite confetti heavy. So my goal, this is also going to be another focus piece for October in Stitch Mania, which is Baps and Smalls. We love them all, I think. And I plan to be doing this again in October. So my goal for kind of to the end of the year as such, so for the focus piece that was in for the focus piece that this was in July, and for the focus piece it will be in October, I wanted to try and get this third page finished, but this is almost completely full coverage and heavily confettied, so I would be pleased with that third page was my goal. So here's a picture of where you saw it last in July, and I'll insert that here. And this is where I got to, obviously until August 1st. So actually, by the way of the picture, I have done quite well, considering it felt like it was taking forever, but I actually managed to do quite a bit. I haven't completed the page, but I'm really not that far off. I've literally got, let me just... I've literally sort of got a little bit here and a little bit of more filling in down here, and then this page is technically complete. So this was as nightmarish as you can imagine it would be, because obviously this being like a cream coloured fabric, as much as sort of, especially with the screen, you sort of look at it and you think, oh well, there, you know, maybe 5-6 colours. It's more like, you know, 12, because it was literally two or three stitches, change colour, 2 or 3 stitches, and they're so close together. There should actually be here, there should be a, like, I believe it's a ray stitch, but I'll put that in. To me that was the crowning glory of this page, so as soon as I finish this page I'll put that in and it'll be like, it's done. So yeah, this is the end of the pattern. So it literally comes down, that's why I've got just this bit here to fill in, and it will just start to come down. This border here that's on this side also partially begins and starts to come down here too. So obviously I'll start to work down here, so I'll have October to do that in. So I should in October at least get the page 3 finish. And then what I'll probably do is go back and finish off maybe like the sentence here, which is, now the earth was without form and void. That would be nice. I'd feel like I'd achieved something with this pattern, to sort of have that heavily confetted bit, and then it's one of those things where there's certain sections, certain pages, where because of the lettering it goes so quickly and you can almost technically do a page, and then there's other sections which have taken a very long time to complete. So, but that's part of the joy of the pattern, isn't it? So that's where I am, or that's the whole pattern. Sorry, I keep moving it, giving motion sickness, do apologise. and the fabric's cut wonky, which is why I've put a guideline in there, because it was driving my eyes crazy. So but yeah, so that's where I'm at. So pretty much from here to here is actually, it doesn't look very big, does it? But that's actually the whole width of the pattern, and then it will come down. So, but yeah, it is a lovely piece. I'm sure. Sorry, my cat's turned up. If he jogs the camera, hopefully he won't try and sit. Oh, he's a good boy. He's kind of just sitting down. But yeah, so that's creation and where I've got to. So I'll be pleased if I should be able to get the September 3rd page done in September, and I feel like that's an achievement, because Katie and Garrett from the Stitch Mania had released their 2017 stitch alongs, and like I said, I'm going to stick to this. Has been quite successful for me to work like a focus piece every month, with my works in progress that had already started taking precedent, in the sense of if there's something that will fit the criteria, then I will work on that in that month, and that's actually worked for me. And I've actually started things, finished things, got things done from 2014 and managed to get them finished, and so at the moment it's working for me. So I'm going to carry that sort of formula over into 2017. Which means that I'm also going to be able to have new starts too, and which obviously as soon as they released them I got really excited. I spent like a day going through my patterns, and because that's my own criteria, I can do a stitch along if I have the pattern. I don't expect to have the fabric necessarily, or the threads, because I don't necessarily have the stash to do that, but my own self-restraint says that I can't go out and find a pattern to match that sale. I have to have a pattern to match that sale, and then I can become part of that sale. If I already have a work in progress that matches that sale, then that takes over. I don't go and find another pattern and start another project. So that's how I'm working. It means that I'm sort of rotating and getting to work on a lot of my pieces. And this year, I've worked on every single piece I've started, and I've got a lot of them finished. I'm actually now I'm at four works in progress, so I don't necessarily think I'm going to finish any more this year, but I'm at 4 works in progress, which is really good. I'm happy and I'm comfortable with that, so yeah, I won't keep rattling on about it. So that's creation, and that's where I'm at. So I was really pleased with my progress on that one, which brought us into August. Now, August is a particularly busy month towards the end of. It was my wedding anniversary on Tuesday. Yes. My husband doesn't watch these, so that's fine. No, it was my wedding anniversary on Tuesday, so that would mean 30th of August. So we've been married for 2 years, been together 10. But we've been married for 2. So that was really nice. But I must admit the last 2 weeks have just been a bit mad, and mainly because of work for me. I work in retail, so, and we had stock take, and stock takes are generally a bit crappy for anybody, but in retail I think they're particularly crappy because you have to scan every single item in the shop and out back, and basically anything within the company, and that is a ludicrous amount of items, when they can be little, tiny little items as well. Yeah, so that takes a lot of prep, obviously, to make it go quicker, and to be as organised as possible. So you spend the whole of the previous month of stock take just prepping for stock take, and then the day comes and it's like a 4 o'clock start in the morning, is the way we do it, and then we just keep going, because we try and do it so that all the store the actual shop is done, and then you've got the back room that can be done, and the shop can still open, and then you've just got the back room to do type thing. So yeah, it's just takes an awful lot of prep. So, and the stock take announcement hadn't happened when my best friend had planned her 40th, and so an important day, her 40th birthday party. So obviously, for those of you that don't know, which is probably most of you, I did moonlight for a little while as a cake maker and designer, and it was okay. It was mainly to do with it just wasn't. You know what it was like. It was with when you're freelance, a bit like buses, a bit like now. It all comes at once. So you can have a little gap, and then all of a sudden there's like, oh, you know, I'm taking on so many orders, and then you'll have like a gap. Obviously it's just me that did it. So in the end, I decided to go more mainstream and get a proper job, as such. And but yeah, obviously I still can. I haven't lost the ability to understand how to make cakes. So yeah, so she'd said to me, oh, could you please, because she was having a party in a hall, actually the venue where we got where we had our wedding reception as well, so that was nice. And she said, oh, you know, could you do a cake for me? And I said to her, not knowing about stock take at the time, because this was months ago, I went, yeah, no problem. And I'll tell you what we'll do, that will be my present to you. I will make the cake. And she was like, oh yeah, that'd be great, blah, blah, blah. So, and then stock take landed, and I'm looking at it, and and stock take was on a Thursday, and her birthday party, and therefore her cake, had to be made by the Saturday night. And yeah, so that left me with work pretty much zero time to make this cake. And so that meant, you know, although I was up 4 o'clock on the Thursday morning for stock take, as soon as I'd finished work, I come home, and then I was baking cakes till 12 at night, and it's just been mad. That's just how it's been. Sorry, it's rattling on about a sob story really about cakes. But for those of you that might be interested, I'm sure you're not by this point, I'll post a picture, because it's quite a bad quality picture, of she had an 80s themed, again, not the greatest theme of cake that I can think of, because I think 80s is quite, you know, well, for us in the UK, we think 80s, we think poodle perms, but you can't put that on a cake. You can't put poodle perms on a cake. So yeah, so I ended up just going neon, black and neon, I felt was, and big bows, like what they'd wear in their hair and things. So but yeah, so anyway, I'll post a picture of the cake that I made, just in case she was interested. So here's the picture. So yeah, so obviously I had that, and that was on a Saturday. Her birthday was on Saturday. It was absolutely fabulous, and it went really well, and it was really nice to catch up and blah blah blah, because it had all been completely mad. And on the Sunday was a cousin's 21st. Thankfully, I didn't have to make a cake for that one. But yeah, you know, you think, what is going on with the celebrations? So on the Saturday we had a 40th, on the Sunday we had a 21st, and actually it was a long weekend, and it was a bank holiday Monday. We had, in the UK, we had a bank holiday Monday, so you'd be thinking, great, so that's one extra day. But because we'd just been, me and my husband, because of work, had just been flat out busy, all the stuff we hadn't got done, we had to do on Monday. So yeah, it's just been a bit so anyway, that's me moaning. So basically what I'm trying to say is, I haven't had as much stitching time towards the end of August as I necessarily would have done. And even this little lull in between, although for a good reason, on Monday, me and my husband are off for 2 weeks, and we're going to be touring the UK, or touring, I mean, not no massive road trip. I mean, we've booked and we're going certain places, but we're going to be looking at just going outside of Bath, and then, which is even sort of moving further west to us where we are, and then we're going to be going to a couple of days in London, well, and then Richmond, which I class as London, but apparently it's Surrey. But yeah, that's like Hampton Court and Kew, hence why we're going, because I adore Kew Gardens, and I say to my husband, we have to go at least once a year, so we haven't been yet, so that's why we're going, and these sort of things. So actually, honestly, I'm going to take a little project with me just in case, but I doubt very much I'm going to get much stitching done. We tend to like to, our chilling out is going to view and look at houses and places and visit scenes and national parks and things like that. That's our chilling out, and it's not really conducive to stitching. But I will take some just as an emergency supply. But I won't be taking any big pieces, which means that I still won't actually, for another 2 weeks into September, I won't really be doing any stitching then either. So I am missing it, I must admit. I am starting to get a little bit like, you know, the nerves. But it's just been flat out manic. So anyway, total huge ramble. If I could edit, I would. I feel sorry for you, but I can't. Basically, on the August, the theme was all that glitters. So I chose to work on my Glendon Place Sleepy Hollow pattern. So I will show a picture of where it was last time you saw it here. And actually, in hindsight, looking at it, it just shows you how confetti heavy the creation was. To this, because I have actually, considering the amount of or lack of stitching I've actually done, I've actually got quite a bit done. So here's where we're at. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. So I'd mainly had the horse's rear and the pumpkin kind of done, and so obviously I've done the rest of the moon, the rest of the horseman, coming into the horse's head. Now on the pattern it recommends that you completely finish the picture in the centre and then go back and do the border. But as I said, I like to work down as much as possible, so I try to do everything that's up first to get to the point where I need to be and go down. So I can understand that, just in case things get misplaced. So what I did was, obviously, as you can see the tree. So I completed the top half of the tree, so I'd know all my placings, and then went in and put the border in, or began the border, so that now I can move down the piece, come across where the horse's nose is, and complete that section, and then I can move down the piece on the border each side each time. So this fabric is a sparklies fabric. It's absolutely beautiful. I do have to have, I find, more regular breaks, even though it's actually been quite sunny in the UK. I've had to have more regular breaks because of this beautiful mottling, but it is a darker fabric, and it's possibly my eyes, but it has been affecting my eyes more noticeably than, say, the lighter fabrics do. So I do use a light towel on my lap, and that does really help. And obviously during the day, working on it during the day is helpful as well. But yeah, so that's where I'm at the moment. Now, this is actually also going to be my focus piece for September. So it will actually almost have 2 focus months on the bounce. But bear in mind, there's probably a good 3 to 4 weeks where actually I have not stitched on this. So it's probably actually will only work out a month of stitching in total. But yeah, because obviously the stitch mania is, it's an illusion. So things like fairies and dragons and things like that, anything that you'd find. So I felt that the Legend of Sleepy Hollow would be appropriate, because it's a legend, and you know, some of it will be, there'll be an element of truth, and some of it will be fictional and illusion. So I felt that that would fit the criteria quite nicely. So yeah, so that's where I am at the moment. So obviously the changes that I've made, I'm jumping around a bit, I do apologise, it's my brain, is the fabric. You can see it's an opalescent. It was charted for 28 count cashel linen, haunted by Picture This Plus, I believe. This is Winter Skies opalescent. It's still a 28 count cashel, and it's absolutely stunning. I love it. I absolutely love it. I mean, I'm part of the Fabric of the Month Club with Sparklies anyway, and she's just really good with her fabric. I just love it. So what other changes have I made? I converted all of the threads, although it is written on the back for you. I converted all of the threads over to DMC. It was initially charted in Anchor, although there is a DMC and Sullivan's conversion on the chart. Except the black, because I always use Anchor black, so I did that. There's also meant to be one Karen water lily in it, which is meant to be for the moon. I didn't use that. I've used Glow in the Dark thread, which is by DMC. I'll put that information down in the bottom, and I am actually on my second skein. I think it's because it is slightly fluffier, the Glow in the Dark thread. I use shorter lengths, so I think I'm probably getting a little bit more waste, because there isn't actually that much moon left to do, but I did need for sure a second skein, so I'll put that. If you did decide to do it in Glow in the Dark, I would get 2 just to be on the safe side. I've not put there should be spider webs in the corners here, but they're back stitching, so I'm not going to do those to the end. There's it's not back stitching, they're just like straight stitches to form a web, but I don't want them crushed up in the frame for any length of time, so I'll do that. At the end there's beads that's meant to go in between all the little pumpkin skeleton heads and bats, and I'm, as you can see, I'm back stitching as I go along. There is a generous amount of back stitching in this, so I'm back stitching as I'm doing it, as I'm going, because I wouldn't want to come back and back stitch the whole thing. So but yeah, so actually I think looking at it now, considering that because at the time when you don't stitch, you just think, I just haven't done any stitching, so my progress isn't going to be good. But actually looking at it now, I think I actually achieved quite a lot of progress, even though for the amount of time I've actually had to stitch on it. So yeah, that's my Glendon Place Sleepy Hollow. That was my focus piece for All That Glitters, due to the Krennic, and well, I'm not doing them, but there's beads. Will be beads on the project, and it will also go into It's an Illusion, which is the stitch along for September in the Stitch Mania group. So yeah, I think, considering I didn't think I had much to say, I've managed 33 minutes. Sorry, probably a lot of that is waffling about stuff that you just didn't want to know about. I am going to try, I'm going to try and see you, there won't be that much of a gap, because I want to try and get back into that kind of middle of the month filming schedule. So what I'll probably do is that it won't be long and you'll see me, although I probably won't have that much stitching to show, which isn't helpful, is it? but I have got 2 pieces, well, and Bethany if I don't find another frame, but I have actually got 2 pieces that are ready to be framed. So I think I'm going to, before I go away on Monday, I'm going to try and concentrate on maybe getting those pieces done, and then that way, if I do get any stitching done, I can talk to you about my stitching, and but also have some FFOs as well to show, which would hopefully at least give you a little bit of entertainment. Thank you so much for all your support, and to any new subscribers, it is really appreciated, and I'm sorry I've been a bit lax this last month. Thank you for commenting, and if any of the information of the patterns or that I've used, or any changes or fabrics, I do try and put in the information box, but if you have got any questions, then do ask. It's not a problem. And I believe that is the end of my little stitching journey up until the 1st of September. I'm sorry I've been a bit late, but hopefully I can get back on track. So, and I may have some photos or something. I always take pictures of needleworks, and I'm hoping to go to a few stately homes. So hopefully I will be allowed to take pictures, and if you're interested, I can share them with you guys. So yeah, I will see you mid-ish September. Stay safe and take care, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Thanks guys. Bye bye.